Now in today's video, we're going to be running through my team selection ahead of match day 4. We're also going to be talking about my new and improved chip strategy and of course going through all the key data you need to smash this match day. Now before we dive into today's video, of course if you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe as we are trying to hit 15,000 subscribers before the start of the new FPL season. So it would be absolutely amazing if we could hit that milestone. As you can see on screen right now is my team from match day 3. If you didn't watch the deadline stream, we did decide to take a -9 hit. All the players that we decided to bring in this week did absolutely nothing. So the -9 pretty much just hindered us, but it is what it is. The players that we took out, a lot of them didn't actually play or came off the bench for 1-pointers anyway, so we kind of sort of made it up a little bit, but still the -9 wasn't really a success. But overall the week though, it was a success. We went from 7.9k to 4.1k. I didn't think it was going to be possible that Vinny J, Svensson, Hakimi absolutely dragged this team from the mud, to be honest. Obviously, that last gasp kind of captain on Vinny Jr. definitely helped. He could have even got himself another goal as well. So I'm pretty happy with the returns that we've got there. It puts us in a decent position heading into, of course, the unlimited transfers as well. So 4.1k, definitely I think the top 1k finish is still on for this game. It wasn't looking possible at one point this week, but I think if we get our team set up correctly and, of course, implement our chip strategy correctly as well, we definitely could still get ourselves a top 1k finish, which would be pretty decent to kind of get considering where we were at the end of match day 1 especially. So let's take a look then at how the groups are lining up. Obviously those have now been fully confirmed. We didn't have them confirmed in the last video that I did film, but pretty much all the projections that we went through there are now correct. So PSG had the best fixture this week. They're playing Inter Miami. All the betting data is suggesting that. Of course, Real Madrid probably with a more difficult fixture, I would say, and probably not a team I would be looking to target. Man City definitely going to be a team to target. Inter a team to target in my personal opinion as well. Dortmund and Bayern Munich all worth targeting as well heading into this match week. And then probably the top left of the side of the bracket, really hard to call. So I probably would only recommend a handful of players from these sides as well. Palmeiras, Botafogo. Palmeiras are the favourites heading into that one, but trying to predict who is going to win that game is extremely difficult. Same with Benfica, Chelsea as well. Probably only one player max from that game in my personal opinion. I think it's just a little bit too close to call, and I don't really know who is going to edge it because both teams have been a little bit hit and miss so far at this tournament. Let's talk through, of course, the new chip then that was announced at the end of match day 3. It is the qualification booster. I'm going to give you my personal opinion on the best time to play it, with, of course, all the different scenarios. Now, for me, I believe playing it in the quarterfinals is the best route. We've still probably got the more one-sided fixtures, and you can definitely load your team full of players with the qualification booster. And there's additional 2 points just for, of course, hitting the next round. And I think it is actually worth, in my opinion, loading your squad full of players that, you know, aren't differentials, actually have a strong probability of getting through, and then you're getting that 2 points anyway. So the scouting bonus for this week, if you are going to be playing this chip, seems a little bit redundant. I think target the teams which, of course, have the higher probability of getting through. Then, of course, you can get that additional 2 points with better players as well in your side that probably have even further progression opportunities as well. If you've got the wild card in hand, I definitely, again, would be playing this chip. I think then you can pretty much stack the team with those big one-sided fixtures where you expect one team to absolutely dominate, get as many 2 points bonus as possible, wildcard yourself out of it and build a pretty strong team for the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and of course the final as well. So that would be the strategy if I did still have a wild card available. The alternative strategy maybe is probably going to be the semi-finals. You know, you could pretty much load up like a 4-4-4 and a 3, and then you pretty much could guarantee yourself probably 7 players reaching the final. So with that, you know, you're probably going to be looking at 14 points, which isn't a bad kind of, you know, number to come away with from this chip. But I think the ideal time is, of course, going to be playing this chip in the quarterfinals, and that's the plan I'm going to do. I'm going to activate the qualify booster for this round. Then, as you'll see, I've still got my my max captain chip left. I'm going to play that in the semi-finals. I know probably the final is going to be the, you know, the preferred fixture for a lot of managers that still have that chip, but I think the semi-finals, there's still some opportunities for big scores, and we do still only get 2 kind of rolls of the dice. So I think that way I'm just covering myself off with all the possibilities, because there's still 4 teams, still a lot of players players that could be, really explosive and pop off and we don't think about. So I definitely want to use it in that game week. Before we head into my team selection then for match day 4, let's take a look at the 11FI data. Of course, if you want to go check it out for yourself, I will leave a link to their amazing website in the description, as always, for you guys to go and have a look, because they do some absolutely fantastic stuff, not only for Club World Cup, but when the Premier League does resume as well. It's a really, really useful website to be using. So let's take a look at the top teams for projected goals then for this week. Of course, Paris Saint-Germain, I'm definitely going to be suggesting you guys to load up on them. Inter, Bayern Munich, City, probably the other teams as well, where most of your attackers are going to be coming from. Dortmund just on the fray of that as well as another team to potentially target. In terms of those clean sheet numbers then, the clean sheet percentages for PSG are looking pretty decent. Bayern Munich with a 39% chance, Inter and City with 37%. Dortmund with an interestingly 41% as well. I think a team that a lot of people probably won't be looking at too much in terms of doubling up with defenders, but Anton and Svensson probably would be the double up, or maybe even a Kobel thrown in there as well as the picks to go for this potential round as well. Of course, we do have the win percentages on here as well, which is also very important if you are going to be playing the progression chip. I forgot its name, but yeah, you know what I mean. PSG with an 82% chance, City with a 75%, Dortmund with a 61%. We're also seeing high numbers for Inter, Bayern Munich as well. So they're probably going to be the fixtures that I would recommend targeting first, and then building around that with some other additional players from these other squads with kind of lesser numbers to that effect. So yeah, like I said, that was the 11FI data. Of course, if you want to go and check it out for yourself, I will leave a link to their amazing website in the description. But let's head on into my team selection for match day 4. Okay, wasting no time, let's take a look at how my team is lining up for match day 4 then. Starting off first with our goalkeeper picks, it is going to be Jan Sommer and it is going to be Ederson. Unfortunately, there aren't any good goalkeepers under 5% for this week with high probabilities of clean sheets. But like I said, with me playing that qualification booster, I do think getting those 2 additional points for the teams progressing is probably going to be the more proactive thing to do than targeting the scouting bonus for this week. So we've got Jan Sommer, as you can see, or what we went through, sorry, in the last slide with the 11FI data. High probability of a clean sheet for them, a 37% chance of a clean sheet, so I'm liking the odds of that. And then Manchester City as well, with also a 37% chance. Also, both of these sides having plus 60% chance of progression. So like I said, if they do keep a clean sheet, get that progression bonus as well. It is going to be extremely nice to see. Let's move on then into our defense. We're going to start off first with Piquez, a penalty-taking defender from Palmeiras, currently under 5% as well, so he would pick up the 2 additional bonus. They have a 48% chance of a win, a 32% chance of a clean sheet as well, and I think he could just be a nice differential in a difficult game where I'm not 100% sure who is going to come out the winner. But if he manages to get himself a penalty, a clean sheet, the scouting bonus, and of course that additional qualification bonus, he could be a mega haul player come match day 1, and definitely one I am thinking about maybe giving the captaincy to for that opening game as well, because I do think that is something to obviously monitor. Make sure you do have a captain for every single game, or try and cover off as many games as possible. And I think within that first game, it's going to be exceptionally tricky to find that ideal captain. Next up is going to be the double PSG defense, Nuno Mendes and Hakimi. Hakimi off the back of that 14-pointer. We know these guys are extremely attacking, extremely good value for money as well. A 47% chance of a clean sheet, 2.99 projected goals as well for PSG this week, and 82% probability of progression to the next round as well. So I like all these numbers. I think they're all stacking up. I think both of these guys are super attacking. Also give you pretty decent captaincy options as well in that game against Miami if you wanted to go for those 2 as well. Svensson is in here again. I think I really like Anton as a pick as well. Anton also could become potentially Piguez with this team, but I like Svensson as well. Again, Dortmund with a 61% chance of qualification to the next round, a 41% chance of a clean sheet as well. Obviously, so far this tournament as well, his point scoring ability has been pretty decent. A 14-pointer and a 7-pointer in the opening match day. Also managed to get himself a assist, which was technically an own goal in that match day as well. So if you look at it like that, he has returned in every single match so far. So again, another player I will be highly recommending to you guys to, of course, take a look at. Now, Darmian is in here, and this one has pretty much come from Bobby. If you want to go and check out his channel, he is doing some amazing work over on there. But Inter, we've seen that they've got a decent chance of a clean sheet with Jan Sommer, so we're going for that double up, high chance of progression as well. The beautiful thing I like about him is the fact that he is under 5%. So, of course, we're going to be getting that an additional 2 scouting bonus. And he has actually played 90 minutes, or pretty much close to 90 minutes, in every single one of these games. 83 here, 90 for this one. And I believe it's 90 for the last one as well. Let me just quickly... Yeah, 90 for all of these. So pretty decent numbers so far for him. Of course, this one will depend on how the Inter team is looking from the predicted lineups. If he's in it, I definitely think I might take that gamble on him as a potential defender to go for. Let's move on then into the midfield. We're going to go for Enzo Fernandez. It is a really difficult game to call between Chelsea and Benfica, but I feel like Fernandez is probably the standout pick out of the lot, to be honest. Having a pretty decent tournament already. 3 attacking returns in the tournament. Like I said, I just think Enzo Fernandez is starting to become the Chelsea talisman. Like, Palmer has lost it a little bit. It's now 27 games without an open play goal. And I really like Enzo Fernandez as, of course, that option. Of course, we're going to have double PSG attack as well. Trying to find who that other PSG attacker is going to be extremely difficult. Whether or not Dembele comes straight back into this game, I'm a little bit hesitant and a little bit doubtful that is going to be the case. Of course, they've got Desiree Doué, they've got Barcola, lots of good options. But the ones that stand out to me are going to be Kvaratskhelia and, of course, Vitinha. Top of the projected goals, like I said, 2.99. I think Kvaratskhelia probably offers himself up as a fantastic captaincy option because you do imagine PSG are going to score goals. You imagine he's going to have some sort of goal involvement with them because if you've watched any of the PSG games so far at this tournament, he seems to be absolutely involved in everything, and probably for me is that talisman right now with, of course, Dembele out injured. And I don't think he'll probably be plopped straight back into this game. I think he might be one of those that does potentially come off the bench. But of course, if we do get early team news or anything that is potentially suggesting some leaks that he might start, then maybe I could reconsider it and potentially bring in Dembele for this side. Elise's in there. Again, pretty self-explanatory pick. 2.05 projected goals for Bayern Munich. Again, gives me a fantastic captaincy option and has an absolutely stellar record so far this year, not only in terms of the season, but also in terms of the Club World Cup as well. And then finally, we've got Phil Foden. A real kind of, I would say, a little bit of a differential. Obviously not under the 5% kind of mark, but a lot of people, I haven't seen many drafts with Phil Foden in, and I really like the chance of progression for Manchester City, a 75% chance of a win, 2.81 projected goals as well. And Foden's been doing decent. Now, excuse this game because he only played half of it. But here, 24 minutes, came on, got himself a goal. This one here, the 15-pointer against Wydad as well. Just smashing it out of the park, really, has been Phil Foden. So I like the numbers. I think Phil Foden will probably start the game as well. It is a gamble, but I think with those attacking numbers, I'm fancying it as a potential gamble. Have a little bit of fun, have a bit of a punt on Phil Foden. Let's move into our 3 attackers then. We're going to go with Erling Haaland again. City with the second highest chance of progression of win. And, of course, 4 projected goals for this week. Gives me an absolutely fantastic captaincy option for that game. Scored last night, got himself an assist as well. So he is actually having a pretty decent tournament, despite pretty mixed minutes so far as well this campaign. So I really think Haaland has to be an absolute must for a lot of your guys' side. Igor Jesus comes in at 4.1 million. He's pretty much just an enabler that is allowing me to build a pretty fantastic side. He's already scored against PSG and Seattle Sounders in this tournament and might potentially get himself a goal against Palmeiras. Now, the projected goal numbers for Botafogo are pretty low, only 1.14, but I'm looking around that cheap striker range and I'm not finding anybody that is kind of wetting the whistle so far. I know I'm missing out on, of course, a potential, Guirassy or Martinez. But I think I'm fancying the team looking a lot stronger and Igor Jesus as just being that one kind of area of weakness so far. I think the rest of the team looks absolutely fantastic. So I don't think it's going to be worth making that sacrifice for Martinez or Guirassy for this side, in my personal opinion. Next up is going to be Harry Kane, the talisman of that Bayern Munich side. Penalties, he takes them. If he usually score, Harry Kane's definitely got some sort of involvement in it as well. A 63% chance of a win and 2.05 projected goals for this week as well. So I'm feeling pretty confident about Harry Kane as a selection. Let me know what you think of my team selection for match day 4. Of course, if you've got any questions as well, I will try and help out as many as I can in the comments section. But I will be live for the deadline tomorrow, so if you are new, make sure you hit and subscribe with bell notifications on so you will be notified when I do go live tomorrow. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in match day 4.